tough for you, huh?
Dude, it is, man. Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern, my girl, uh, looking to be in fantastic shape, by the way, going into this fight.
Hmm.
Uh,
Definitely.
but I found out
But
that she was no longer going to have Jason Perillo in her corner. And I
dude,
thought
did
to
you hear
myself,
Dean Thomas?
oh no.
Did you hear Dean
Yes,
Thomas after the first round?
yes,
He's like, I don't know who it was that told them to get rid of Jason Perillo, but that guy needs to get fired. It's like,
100%.
it's like,
Because
what?
we saw Mackenzie Dern, and we've talked about this in the podcast before too. You know who
Mhm.
she reminds me of? She reminds me a lot of Ronda Rousey, where
Dude, I was gonna make.
such a strong specialist in her
Yep.
craft. In her case, jujitsu, right? In her striking, though, there's such a big gap where she leaves her chin way up in the air. She's throwing wild shots.
This
She doesn't
picture.
have a solid base, solid foundation. Yes, just like that, like stepping forward. And
It's not a
against
good look.
Andrade,
You
against
never want to
Andrade
be.
out of all
Yeah, it looks
people,
like she's running right now. It doesn't look like she's fighting. Like, look at the way
but
her right hand is back, her right leg is forward. Like, not good.
we see this sometimes from jiu-jitsu practitioners, experts that have a hard time in MMA grappling for takedowns, right? With their wrestling.
Yeah,
If they have no chain wrestling, if they struggle in just takedowns in general, she has the hip toss, the head hip toss, which that's
just
it.
but everybody in women's MMA has that. It's like
Yes,
it's probably the most effective thing in women's MMA because it's almost like if there's more than two women's fights on a card, you're going to see at least one head and arm throw. It's like
it's
the
gonna
most
happen.
commonly used technique.
But
It's
beyond that, she
hilarious.
struggles. So what she tends to
Yeah,
do a lot is she tends to blitz in, and when she blitzes in, if she can get a hold of you,
yeah. And she'll try to
that's
trip you
another
or
form of
something.
her. Yeah, to try to
Hmm.
get you down, right? Um, so it,
Shout out Adam Hurley
hey,
in the
thanks for
chat.
joining us, Adam Hurley. That being said, again, Perillo no longer in the corner. You see
Hmm.
the regression in her striking because I felt like Perillo was cleaning a lot of that up.
Well, you saw her kind of start to fight behind her jab with Perillo and just be a little bit more composed because that's the biggest thing you could see when someone's not like they don't have the experience in striking is it's like they get sloppy, they overexpose things, and they're not composed. That's like the biggest thing. They break form. Like when you can just stay calm, stay in the pocket, keep your form, that's like the biggest thing. If you're a fighter, if I'm fighting you, the first thing that I'm trying to do is break your form so that I can get something on you, get you off balance. Like that's like the number one thing. That's like the bare minimum if you strip everything else down, And you could see some of it, like she was landing some straight punches, like this shot here. She tagged Andrade a couple times when Andrade was just trying
Yeah,
to like move backwards, right? And she was just bam, bam, bam. But then it's like as these things start to get extended, you see this, and then
yeah.
what this leads to is this is someone who doesn't break form, and they can
Ouch.
stay in that fire and they can stay composed. And when you break form, they can land on you.
Hey, how tough is
And then you
she
see
though, huh?
this. Yeah. But when we talked about deer in headlights, this is the picture I was thinking of. This is after Andrade dropped her in the second round,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh my god, I have to get back
Oh
up."
no.
This is a terrifying picture, and then it doesn't get better
Yeah.
from there. And then when you think about it, reminds you of Ronda Rousey. This finishing sequence reminded me of Ronda Rousey versus Amanda Nunes, where you're not even in a stance at this point anymore. If you look at her legs, and it's the mummy guard and it's the pushing away, like I don't want to get hit anymore. It's the lean back, push away with your arms, and meanwhile someone's throwing fireballs at you, and they're not reaching and they're not sloppy. They're composed. Look at her squared stance, throwing hooks. Like Andrade hits like a truck already, so you cannot just be mummy guarding, leaning away from punches, and it
Yeah, and
sucks
she
to
throws some
see.
shots. She misses, and she just tries to come back with a backhand right off that and follow it up with
Yeah,
the
it's just
left. It was super sloppy, and I feel bad because going into this was the battle of the divorce bills, right?
yeah,
And we're like,
100%. It's
okay,
like all
who's
they're
gonna get
talking about.
that? Who's
John
gonna
Anik
get
just
that
licking his
show
chops.
money and that win money? Yeah, yeah, Anik.
Yeah, and it turns
Jesus,
out
way
who's
to
getting the
drop that
show money
knowledge.
and the win money is Andrade's ex, not Mackenzie
Hundred
Dern's
percent,
ex.
100%. And then, but yeah, this should have been stopped a lot earlier, man. I'm starting to think that Mackenzie Dern probably owes Keith Peterson some money or something.
Nah,
Um,
I thought it was fine. She got dropped, but there were flash knockdowns more so than anything. She was never like unconscious, you know. And you know, some people make it a career out of getting dropped. Look at Charles Oliveira, Fabricio Verdum, specifically the jiu-jitsu people. They make a career of getting dropped. Someone goes in for the finish. They're in your guard now, and they sub them. You know, that's how we got Fedor. Um,
do you just compare Dern to Alex or to Oliveira?
no, I'm just saying, like, jiu-jitsu fighters, when they get dropped and it's a flash knockdown and they're not unconscious, they're still dangerous. They're still more dangerous than any other fighter, in my opinion. You know, just
Yeah, I
because
guess
you go in there to finish them, and if you get sloppy, you know, they
you
might have
get
dropped to
caught
a
in
brown belt, but
some type of submission. Yeah,
they might catch you. Um, I'm not saying she's as good as Charles Oliveira. I'm just saying, you know, you give it the benefit of the doubt on knockdowns that you drop on your butt and you're still like there. You know,
yeah,
like I mean, that's not an unconscious fighter. You know, that's someone praying they don't have to get up, but and they did. But
yeah. I think it was at on the third knockdown. I think is where we probably could have been like, hey, okay, because it didn't seem like she wanted anything
yeah,
to do with it anymore.
no,
And I
and
think Keith Peterson, she was probably looking at Keith Peterson to stop it at that point because she's not
could
going to
be
say like, "Hey, I'm out."
no, no, no,
So oh
and
well,
but like you made a good point. Jason Perillo probably needs to still be there, and like, hey, I know she was training with Henry Cejudo a little bit. Maybe that was just for cameras because she didn't really shoot at all. She needs to be with people like Cejudo. Maybe come to San Jose and start training at AKA. Maybe like you need to be able to get them to the ground. You're not a
yeah.
striker. You're not Bangkok ready. It's not going to happen at the top of the division. You know, Perillo will get you refined, but you're still not Bangkok ready. Even with Perillo, you still need to be able to get people to the ground. The hands need
Send
to
her
be a
with Stan.
distraction. Yeah, the hands need to be a distraction. You know, if you catch someone,
Man,
great, but it should be a distraction to get in on a single leg, get in on a double leg. You know, like
it was just so
they need.
rough, man. It was rough to
Yeah,
watch.
it's tough, but
Yeah.
sometimes it falls. Sometimes it works out. You know, but I'm glad for Andrade because she's had such a cool career. Just such a fun fighter who's had a lot of ups and downs and stringing together some losses lately. But yeah, she's still up there, still cracking.
Shot out of a cannon. Mackenzie Dern becomes a champion ever in her career.
No,
No, right?
no, it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Maybe she
And I
goes
like
to
her.
one. Maybe she goes to one and just does the jujitsu matches,
Yeah, maybe
and
she
keeps on
she
getting those
beat everybody.
bonuses
Her
from
jujitsu
Chachi
is
CM
insane.
Pong.
Yeah,
And have that guy yelling at the top of his lungs too.
yeah.
What's his name again?
Frank.
Frank, dude. Our guy Frank.
Hey everybody, Romero and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.